ladies and gentlemen, how about another round of applause? You get a little bit out of time, and that's all it takes to put you down on the ground. Here's Brady Jandreau.
No more riding, no more rodeos. If you don't stop, your seizures are gonna get worse.
Some guys get scared to get on again and then they end up becoming farmers. Ain't that right, Brady? You don't let no pain put you down.
I had to sell Gus, Brady.
You can't sell Gus.
It's not like you can ride anymore.
Who's this?
That's Apollo.
Wow, that's amazing. A horse that never had nobody on his back before.
I believe God gives each of us a purpose. For the horse, it's to run across the prairie.
Go, man, Brady.
For a cowboy, it's to ride.
Hello everyone, my name is Don, the movie reviewer, and today we are going to be talking about Chloe Chose The Rider. And The Rider is a movie that premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in May 2017, so this movie is a year old. But it was officially released here in regular theaters in 2018, so regular audience members like myself have to wait for a gem like this to hit the theater. This was an emotionally heavy movie that I cannot wait to get into. Brady Jandreau is an American cowboy. Now, this movie is fiction mixed with non-fiction. It's reality while at the same time being a movie. Brady Jandreau, his character name in the movie is Brady Blackburn, and his dad is in the movie who plays Tim Jandreau, but then in the movie his name is Wayne Blackburn. Then Brady has a sister named Lily Jandreau, who plays Lily Blackburn in the movie. And the director, Chloe Zhao here, Chloe Zhao loosely based this movie off of Brady Jandreau's real life. The scar that is on his head is a real scar. He legitimately suffered an accident at the hands of doing what he loves doing the most, which is performing in the rodeo. And I don't know anything about that lifestyle, and I felt the movie perfectly painted a picture and illustrated that lifestyle to me. So I understood what Brady was going through emotionally in this movie. When we see the scar on his head at the beginning, I feel empathy for this guy. And seeing him go throughout his daily life, he's extremely depressed because he doesn't get to do what he loves to do. And that's really emotionally heavy, and he goes throughout the movie with Tim, who is his legitimate father in this movie, playing a guy who I feel is disrespectful to Brady, his son, in the movie. I don't know how he is in real life, but in the movie, the father is disrespectful to his son, always putting him down, saying, "You'll never ride again," and whatnot. But then I did feel a sense of empathy towards the father as well, because the mother is no longer in the picture, which they don't get too in depth about what happened to his mom. But we get a sense of understanding. And with the father, he just wants to communicate with Brady. He just wants to understand Brady and get Brady to express his feelings to him. And I think that frustrates Tim, his father, very much, to the point where he lashes out on his own son and verbally attacks him.
Where are you going with that?
I'm going to the rodeo.
You don't need to go ride today.
I'm entered and I'm riding.
Go kill yourself then.
and that just brings Brady's emotions down to zero, and then he just starts moping around for a majority of the movie. But then Brady has a Brady has a sister named Lily, and she suffers Asperger's syndrome, and she's just the brightest star that anyone has ever seen.
Okay.
Duérmete, mi mía. Duérmete, amor. Duérmete, pepazo, ni mi corazón.
She is the light that shines within Brady's life in this movie, and she has a lot of very emotional sequences in this movie to where she shows empathy to Brady during his times of depression, and she's just a star that shines in his life ever so brightly. She was great. And there is this, and we also get a feel of how much Brady loves her when he talks to her. And there is one scene where Brady's at a bar hanging out with his friends, and one of Brady's friends tries to tempt Lily into drinking a beer, and we can feel as an audience member Brady's emotional frustration towards his friend who's trying to tempt his sister with a beer, playing a game with her, or whatever he was doing. Maybe Brady overreacted. And that's another thing I feel about the movie, is that as I was watching it, I was emotionally invested in Brady and his character and his situations that he was going through. And I felt this dual dynamic going on while I was watching this movie. I felt empathy for his character. I wanted him to succeed during the moments when he was just down on himself. I felt bad for him. The movie hit me in the feels. It touched me emotionally, and it made me cry. And I will also say, while doing that, maybe it was a bit heavy-handed, but at the same time, and the reason why I say heavy-handed is because they showed me his sister with Asperger's syndrome, and they constantly showed her in the movie. And I kind of felt maybe they overdid it a little bit to where, like, for instance, as an example, when I used to see these commercials of people like, you need to adopt a dog today, the dog is suffering, you need to feed the dog, and they show the dog in the commercial shivering and shaking, and it looks so sad, and it's like, dude, why are you fucking filming this? Put the fucking camera down and go help the fucking dog. Why are you trying to set up this shot of this dog shivering so you can just get people to send money to this program? Why do you put the camera down, man? If you seriously care about this dog, why are you filming this? You know, or like when people are like, you know, you need to feed the children, and they legit, for some reason, they try to get the most horrific shots to touch people who are watching this, because it's like you see a kid for Save the Children, and they're sitting in a shelter or on the street somewhere, butt naked, and they're like, feed this child today, 15 cents a day, and it's like, dude, put the fucking camera down and help that child, man. Why are you trying to set up this perfect shot to just get me to feel emotionally sorry for this child? I feel sorry for the child, but then at the same time, I feel disgusted because you're filming this, you know? I don't know, that's just me. But that's how I kind of felt watching this movie, where it's like it was a bit heavy-handed because they kept doing it. Like, we also see this guy named Lane in the film, I think his name is, and he is a paraplegic. He suffered a serious injury at the hands of a horse performing in a rodeo, and he can still communicate, and him and Brady have some of the best scenes in the movie, and I feel their emotional bond. But at the same time, I felt like there was one scene that really confused me, to where they kept showing these two hanging out, and there was a moment where Brady, he's not a complete good guy. I feel bad for him and empathy, but there are some moments in the movie where they show Brady in a negative light. Like, there's a moment where Brady wants to sell his saddle, but then he doesn't want to give up. And then so he decides not to sell his saddle, but then he sells his pants, the pants that the rodeo cowboys wear. I don't know what they're called, but he gives them to this kid. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna be a real cowboy. But then once the boy like shows off the pants, and then Brady's looking at him, and you can tell he's kind of jealous because he doesn't get to ride anymore. He's like, let's wrestle, and he wrestles the kid, and he kind of goes overboard with it. And so with that, you know, I kind of looked at this character as like, oh, you're an asshole, man. You just wanted to show how tough you are and superior because you're a dude and you gotta be macho. But he's feeling emotional grief, so I still felt bad for him, even though he's kind of being a jerk. Then there was a scene, in connection to what I'm saying here, is that there's a scene when he went to go see his friend Lane in the hospital towards the end, and he's like, yeah, I know, his friend Lane tells him, yeah, you should never give up on your dreams. Then Brady's driving in his truck towards the end, and he starts crying. And at that moment, I'm like, is he crying for his friend Lane in the hospital, and his friend Lane never gets to ride again, or is he crying for himself? And maybe he was crying for himself, maybe he's crying for Lane, but either way, it's like, you could say it's a bit heavy-handed, but then I could say that because, one, you know, I don't know the rodeo cowboy lifestyle. I don't live that life. So I'm an alien in this world. So maybe it feels a bit over the top to me because I'm just not used to seeing this kind of stuff. But then, you know, as the movie was depicting this guy's life and what he was going through, I felt it emotionally. I understood it, like his connection with the horse. At the very beginning of the movie has this beautiful shot of this horse in the sand, and we immediately understand how much of a connection Brady has to this horse. Like, he has a complete fixation on this horse, and he loves this horse, but then he breeds another horse, and we can see in real time how he breaks a horse and trains it. It feels a bit, for me, it feels a bit over the top because I feel bad for the horse. Like, let me tell you a little story. I can't even fish. I can't hunt. I can't because I feel bad for the animals. I don't want to kill them. I can never go hunting because I can't shoot the animal, even though I eat meat and I love meat. I didn't kill the animal. I'm just eating the flesh. But if I had to kill it, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be a coward. Like, I went fishing one time and I reeled the fish in, and then a friend held it in front of me. I looked at it and felt sad for the fish. I was like, throw him back, you know? And so it's like as I see Brady breeding these horses, I feel bad for the horse because he's beating the horse into submission, but he's not being super aggressive with it. He's not like punching it or injecting it with steroids or anything like that. You know, he's breaking the horse, and you can see, well, the horse kind of doesn't have a choice. This guy's gonna break you until you give in, but he's still loving the horse. He's still showing affection towards the horse. So me as an alien viewing this, I kind of feel bad because I don't know what's going on. But then once I see the progression of Brady's connection with the horse, I see the bond that they have and that bond that they share and how much he loves the horse and he loves the rodeo and he's training the horse, breaking it in. I felt for it emotionally, so that was good. Chloe Zhao directs this movie like a professional. It feels so cinematic. The shots in here with the horses are very beautiful. Like, there's shots of just landscape and horses. The very beginning of the movie is beautiful. This beautiful dream sequence, and it feels like a dream, and it's beautiful. And as soon as I saw that, I was sucked right in. Then you see the landscapes and the scenery with the sky, and it's beautiful. There are a lot of artistic choices in here. Like, there's a scene where Brady and this girl are smoking marijuana, and they're sitting in this truck, and there's this red lighting that is casted over them, and it's a perfect ominous shot in the movie. And then there are shots of like the horses in the distance on mountains and on hills, not mountains but on hills. During the night sky's in the background, and you see the horses in the distance and they illuminate in the light in the sky. It's beautiful. So there are lots of artistic choices in this movie, and I feel the movie is mostly told through images. There's lots of dialogue and scenes, you know, conversations between characters, but I feel like for the emotional connections in this movie, they're mostly told through images, and I feel that Chloe Zhao perfectly captured the tone, atmosphere of this movie to where I was sucked in. I felt like I was watching a documentary. Like, at times it didn't feel like a movie, especially with the acting involved here. She directed these actors who are not professional actors. They're actually people who went through these things that are going on in this movie. Not all of them, but most of them, or some of them. But, and they played it beautifully. And like in scenes when, you know, the character's hand was hurting, or when he collapsed, or when he was feeling depressed, I felt him. I felt his pain. And, you know, at times I was worried. I was like, is this really acting? Or are they actually, did he really collapse? Are they really going through this? Like, well, I felt so bad, you know, to the point I'm like, well, there's something wrong. He just collapsed on the floor. Why are you still filming this? You know, and I felt it emotionally. It touched me and it hit me. And so Chloe Zhao directed this movie to absolute perfection. Overall, I will give The Rider a solid A. I give it a solid A because, no wait. Overall, I give The Rider movie an A+. I give it an A+ because this movie's perfection. The directing in here is perfection. The acting from non-traditional actors in here is perfection. Every single moment I felt emotion. Yes, the movie is slightly depressing because you see the character going through all these emotional things, and that's what life is. You know, you go through emotional roller coasters. There are ups, there are downs. There are mostly downs in this, especially at the beginning, because you feel so much empathy for this guy and you feel sorry for him because there are some people who are putting him down, like Tim, his dad. I don't know if his dad does that in real life. I hope not. But in the movie, his dad, you know, is constantly talking trash, putting him down. But I understood what the dad was kind of coming from. He's frustrated with his son because his son's not expressing his emotions to him. His dad just wants him to live and whatnot, because the kid, Brady's going through the movie mostly being depressed. But then you can see he has a good heart because he's always talking to his friend Lane in the hospital. He's hanging out with his sister Lily. But he's mostly depressed, but he has his buddies, his group of buds that he hangs out with, which is a really good scene where they all have a bonfire, which is super emotional. Nothing but emotional scenes in this movie. It touched me. And yes, did it feel a bit heavy-handed? At points, I felt like it did because, you know, it's like I felt so bad. Like, why are you filming this? It's like a documentary. It hit me so, it's like a ton of bricks that just hit me, and I'm like, man, you know, there's so many people going through so many things in this life that I can't even understand, you know. And to be able to view this movie as a person who doesn't know anything about this stuff, I understood the character, his progression, his story, his journey, the situations, the everything in this movie. The whole combination of everything in here was so perfect that for me, not knowing anything about this lifestyle, I walked away understanding it, understanding the character, his life, and what he wanted, and I loved it. I absolutely love it. It hit me in the feels, whether I want to try and deny it and be macho and be like, I don't feel anything. I'm emotionally just strong, and it's like, no, this movie touched me, man. This is an emotionally heavy movie. So if you want to watch an emotionally heavy movie that has great directing in here, artistic shots, it feels real with what's going on screen, and so it hurts me, but it's a great movie. I love The Rider, and that's all I have to say. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.